Senator Booker also.
Oops. Hey, what's up, everybody? How are we doing today? Hopefully, we are doing well. Let me turn down the music just a slight hair, just a little bit of a hair, just a little bit of a hair, not a large hair, not a large hair today. Anyways, it's the long-awaited Epstein files, ladies and gentlemen. We've been begging for them, we've been asking for them, and now we got them. Hey, what's up, Bill? Good to see you there. Perfect timing. Oh, I saw Loner. I was watching Loner's stream going over the Federalist Papers, actually. I'm actually kind of excited to watch that back when I have a chance. Loner just started Lesbian Bug Game. Hey, there we go. Silk Song, I believe, is the name of that one. Although I'm not sure. One moment. Let me send out a message to my box aficionados and everybody else in between. Let me go to Wix. What'd you say there? I legitimately forgot the name, Silk Song. Yeah, I'm horrible at platformers. So I already knew I would not like that game. But like, it's fun to watch. I'm just horrible at that type of platformer, you know what I mean? At everyone. We are live, but I do have a little bit of a protest. Ooh, I do need to stand my ground and advocate for myself a little bit. So we're gonna do that here in a moment. I am enraged. I'm enraged, okay? There's an absolute miscarriage of representation going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to discuss that here in a moment. And it's directed directly at my community, at you guys. And I can't stand for it. So we're going to go over that here in a minute. And my official comments on the 2025 Loner Orbiter tier list. Yes, you know. You already know. You already know, Bill. It's serious. Yeah, it is. Snub. Loner Orbiter snub. That's what we're gonna call it. This is all made in jest, by the way, in case you guys, yeah, I guess I'll just start right away. This is probably what we need to talk about, before we launch into anything, truly. Because it's obviously very big and, affects everybody here, truly. So let me run back to the, oh, where's the spider? Where's the link spider dropped? Loner Unbox snubbed me. No, I won't do that. I won't go that far. I know it's good bait, but Thank you. Thank you, Bill. I can always depend on you. See, we have amazing community members like Bill in this community. You know, staples of the loner orbiter community. And he doesn't get any representation? Who dis? I got a Discord notification. Oh, what's up, dog? If you're from Kalinda's library, my name is That Guy Doesn't Exist. I do US politics. So, if you're into that, consider giving a like and a sub, because we're pretty crazy around these parts. Alright, let me bring this absolute snub up, though, because this is just an affront to justice. It's an affront to democracy. Okay? So we'll go down here. You know, this is all fine. Vote for me as Chatter of the Year. You're damn right. This is all fine. Great. Great. Buddy of the Year. Yeah, totally. I would vote for probably Dylan, or honestly Dan is a pretty good. I'll give it a like, sub maybe later. Best wishes. Hey, take care, Vosh. The Stampede 967. Good seeing you in the chat. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Look at this. Teuton. Would you even consider Teuton a loner orbiter? That's an adversary. That's an adversary right there. They have representation of the enemy before they have representation of their very own allies? What is this? Chase doesn't even have a YouTube channel. No offense to Chase, I love him. He's one of my favorite people. But Chase, I mean, Teuton doesn't even have a channel. Very true. Very true. Not an orbiter. House of Maple. Would we consider that him an orbiter? Now, Mina, Kalinda, Sev, and David, I think are justifiable. But, ladies and gentlemen, the most egregious, the most absolutely egregious and self-serving example is the creator of this. Put themselves there, ladies and gentlemen. Put themselves there. Now, is that democracy? Would you say that's democracy? I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all. Not at all. And you notice one person who is distinctly missing from this list. He might actually be the best orbiter, though. Spider? Well, it takes a strong leader to give up the reins of power. That's what I'll say. That's what I'll say. I mean, this is a miscarriage of justice. I'll just put it frankly. It's a miscarriage of justice. Like, I understand. Just heartbreaking. So, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend writing me in somehow. I don't know if there's a way, but if there's a will or a way, let your voices be known. Because this miscarriage of justice just cannot be allowed to carry through. Your Discord. Oh, wait a minute. Bill, you don't even know Sans or Maple? Then how can they be orbiters? That's what I'm wondering. Just a miscarriage. Just a miscarriage of democracy, representation. And where's... Okay, hold on. Hold on, there's even more. I just discovered something even more insidious, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Spider has been accused, the maker of this, of being discriminatory towards white women. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're noticing, there's a particular mod that is not here. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I just don't think it loaded. Never mind. I take that back. I thought that was the end. Sorry. Can you go through the tweets? Twitter is banned here. I don't have Twitter either. I think it's full of Nazis. But I won't deny that Twitter is an important apparatus of... Ruzzi is not white, she's Italian. I know. I just like being a little memer. I'm just memeing. Now, the ones they got right, and I'll admit, you know, Mina, great orbiter. Sev, amazing orbiter. Kalinda, absolutely killing it. I guarantee she'll get to 500 here soon. So make sure to sub to Kalinda if you haven't already. We're trying to get to her to 500 gamers. But I mean, and I guess Spider obviously orbiter, but there is obviously a clear bias, you know. I'm just saying that right now. Anyways, that's a meme, guys. I really don't care that much. But if you guys haven't already voted in this, go vote. Remember to vote in the Loner Box Awards. Oh my god, you're right! I almost forgot. Spider forgot one of the most important, if not one of the most... What's the word I'm looking for? Influential orbiters of the year. Conduit himself. We'll be watching his video tomorrow, actually. Conduit's video. I'm actually very excited to watch it. I've been waiting for a day where we can go through it all together. But that's a great point, Bill. Where is Conduit? To the makers of this, you know, this is obviously a miscarriage of representation, a miscarriage of justice, a miscarriage of, on so many levels that I think Spider needs to be held accountable. I don't know what that looks like right now, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what that looks like. We could call him bald from now on. There's a couple things we could do. We could, I mean, obviously the bald embargo is going up, so, Spider is now permanently bald, but there's more we can do. Unless he decides to add me and my brother Conduit. I'm not just fighting for me now. This isn't just a me fight. I'm fighting for my brother Conduit as well, who just recently hit 10,000 subscribers. That's more subscribers than all of us combined, all of us smaller orbiters. I mean, do I need to say more? By the way, again, guys, if you haven't watched Conduit's video, it's really good, about Asmon. And we'll be going over it. But ladies and gentlemen, I think this is just a miscarriage of justice. There's the voting link. We'll be talking about the Epstein files today, but I just wanted to get on top of this because I knew the snubbing was seen by all, and I couldn't let it go unaddressed. I couldn't let it go unaddressed. I mean, what did he... This was meant to cause civil war. That's what I'm thinking. You section off a large enough... you know... Discriminate against a large enough proportion of the community. Alright, am I being... Alright, I'm done. I love Spider. I'm not... He's dope as hell. Anyways, I'll go on this later. But I cannot let Kutch claim Conduit as his own. Oh, I know. I saw that too. No, I think Spider hates you. No, well, I mean, it does seem like, you know, he does not like a certain section of the Loner Box Orbiters, you know. I'm joking. I need to stop before it starts to sound like I'm actually serious. Anyways, we'll be going over all of this, and I think we're gonna go by name, you know what I mean? Shout out to JDrive, a searchable database of all the Epstein files. Done by the public, not by the government, surprise, which is illegal. The government was supposed to supply a searchable database. But if you go to the DOJ's website, that shit is not searchable at all. It's so frustrating, dude. Alright, I'm gonna switch gears from community stuff to actual political mode, but you better know, Spider. You better know that this community is not to be trifled with. We are a strong community. You know, we're gamers at the end of the day. Look, everyone here's a gamer. Like, think about that. Think about the absolute skill that goes into being a gamer. Uh-oh. The music knows. The moment I mentioned gamers, it got serious, and they knew. They're like, oh shit, he's talking about his skills. Anyways, yes, we're playing Front Mission 4 some more, because I need to beat it, dude. I never beat it as a kid. And, you know, when you play something as a kid and you never beat it, you're like... You have to go back and you have to redo it. I didn't beat a lot of games. I was a bad gamer as a kid. I won't lie. I was a very bad gamer. Like, I didn't look at stats or anything. I just looked at what looked coolest. I think that's what a lot of kids did, though. But I saw a lot of you in Kalinda's chat last night, by the way. Very proud of you gamers for being there. I wanted to join and fight with that Cheddar dude. The only issue is I was at work, so obviously it would be hard for me to call in and be like talking my shit. But a lot of these people, especially Ogre Soy, they shit on the Democratic Party left and right, and it's so annoying to watch because they act like there's an alternative that is even better. And they act like the Democratic Party is not kicking ass. Like, we've been winning in all these special elections. We've gotten multiple votes on the ACA subsidies extensions. Like, what are we talking about? What are we actually talking about? The Democrats aren't doing anything. Oh, and the greatest thing, Kamala would have been the exact same in fucking Israel-Palestine. Oh my god. Trump literally ran on being Israel's best friend. And these people want to be like, well, Kamala, you know, Fucking what was their name? Holocaust Harris. There we go. Like, Biden handed a ceasefire to Trump when he left office. Do you guys remember that? I know a lot of these lefties have short-term memory loss, but think back to a time. Think about, yeah, that's a great point. Trump kept using Palestinian as a slur against Schumer. Think about that, dude. Like, that's so nasty. It's just nasty. And yet, they wanted to say Kamala Harris would have been worse. It's infuriating. And while I don't think that was a super big contributing factor to why people didn't vote for Kamala Harris, I do think it poisons the minds of young people into thinking that the Democratic Party is just the exact same as the Republicans, which is far, far, far from the truth. It's so uneven how different the parties are. It's literally the Democracy Party versus the Authoritarian Party. I wish it wasn't like that. It didn't have to be this way, like straight up. It did not have to be this way. But this is what the Republicans wanted, dude, and it's not, it's not my fault they're a bunch of fascies. Like, I'm sorry we're not as left as you want, but the thing is, the Democratic Party, we have lefties in our party, you know what I mean? That call themselves Democrats, so I don't get it. I don't. Maybe Ogre Boy can enlighten me someday. Maybe I'll see the truth through him. He was mad at Loner yesterday. I don't know if he was exactly mad. I'd say he was more I guess frustrated is the best word. It was fun to watch though. And I won't lie, Ogre Boy isn't nearly as bad as some of the other ones. Like, the ones that show their faces are, like, usually not the most horrible people. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm setting up my kit right now. I don't know what I want to... If I want to take a... Yeah, I guess I'll take another skill slot, I guess. I don't know. This level is honestly really hard. I am not vibing with it. What does Panic Shot do? Target's accuracy or evasion. I already have this 2 of both of those, so I don't know. Focus left. But yeah, this I hate when people try to say the parties are equal or both sides it, because it diminishes the it makes what Trump is doing just not significantly worse. You know what I mean? Like, it almost excuses Trump's behavior in a way, because they imply that this is going to happen regardless of who's in charge, and it's not true. It does not have to be that way. And it's so infuriating. But how do you get somebody to, like, recognize that? Like, once they've fully bought into the lefty brain rot, how do you pull them out of that? I haven't seen it done too often. Like, I have better luck pulling MAGA away from Trump. You guys have seen it in my chat if you've been here for a while. I have better chances of pulling MAGA out of the right than I do pulling the left out of their crazy conspiracies. I don't know what it is. I used to be a far lefty. Well, I mean, to a certain extent, I think a lot of us used to be more lefty. Like, I won't lie, I felt like when I first initially learned about what was happening in Israel and Palestine, you know, it shocked me, it disgusted me, and I was infuriated, but I wanted to know more because I knew that having those feelings is not healthy. Like, you can't be feeling like I was like, oh, this is just horrible. Like, these people are just the worst. But luckily, you know, I was watching people like Ethan and Loner at the time, and it helped me kind of digest that of what's actually happening. And it's far more nuanced, surprise, surprise, than a lot of these lefties want to say. As to the genocide question, I am not sure. I'll be honest. I think we have to let some time pass before you can make a judgment call like that, because you look at all the mass killings, they weren't immediately called just genocides when they were happening. Maybe some were, but vast majority of them, I feel like, I don't know. The definition may need to be changed. I don't know. I know that's a little bit different from a stance, because, I mean, what Israel is doing is obviously horrible. And they know it's bad. But so does Hamas. Hamas knows it's just, you know, I hold them very equally accountable for their mass killing of both of their civilians. So, I don't know. I'm a two-stater. 67 67 67 67 67 67 67 67 67 67 67 67 67 67 67 67. Amen. Amen, Janyan Downing. I agree, actually, believe it or not. I know, not a popular position to have, but I agree with Janyan. I agree, man. Like, dude, like, for real, like, 6-7. Alright, we probably need to, watch the... I do like to start with a little PBS NewsHour before we get into the E-files. And I wanted to upgrade my gamer here. Who was it? Was it Schaefer? No, it was Lewis. Lewis, my boy. What do we got here? Could get some more link points for him. I don't know. I don't know, man. Or I could just give him more AP. Yeah, let's do that. I like that idea. Anyways, a lot of the Epstein file stuff, speaking of that, is just absolutely crazy. I still don't know what to think about that cab driver story. I guess we'll be getting into a little bit of it, but if I could go back in time, I would make it so America declared independence 9 years earlier. Why is that? That's interesting. Ah, I see. I literally added it up right when you sent that. I was like, hold on. Now that I think about it, 9 years. 1767, dude. True. Then 6-7 would be seen as like a war cry for all the rightoids. They think if you say 6-7, that means you want to get them killed. You just see that? He typed 6-7 in my chat. Can you believe that, dude? Holy fuck. keep doing the wrong thing. God damn it. I need to go to pilot setup. And then once I'm at pilot setup, I go down to Lewis. Get abilities, buy abilities, max AP plus 10. There we go. And then I think I'm gonna switch. I don't know. I think I might switch some of the La Lorenza pilots I get. Like, instead of Gomez, let's, what does Jose have? Yeah, I'll just have, like, submachine guns, and that's, like, cool, I guess, but not really what I'm looking for, particularly. But it's alright. I guess we can't really get... Actually, hold on. I have an idea. Ooh, I'm freaking a genius, bro. Big brained out here, okay? Big brained. And then we can switch out. We can switch out. Sorry guys, one moment. I'm doing some big-brained calculations here. Yeah, I think that will be best. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we can probably start watching some PBS NewsHour now. Now, I'm expecting not a lot of Rightoid engagement because I know that they are deathly afraid of the Epstein files, so they're probably gonna try their hardest to not talk about this, but I think we all need to do what Ted Cruz says here. I think we all need to do what he says here right now.
Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders?
Amen. Hold on. Listen to this.
We all come together and say, let's stop rape.
Hey. How about we all come together, MAGA? Let's all come together and say, let's stop rapes.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
What? Hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Ted, you wanna run
Senator
that back,
Booker
buddy?
also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders?
Let's stop murders. Yes. Yes.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape?
Yes, let's stop it. I hate it.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
Wait a minute. What did you... Wait a minute, Ted. Hold on there, buddy. What'd you just say? Well, I'm not going to agree. That's the one thing we can't agree on. I'm not going to stop attacking pedophiles. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. That's the one bipartisan avenue we just can't agree on. Here, maybe he misspoke though. Let's try one
Senator
more
Booker
time.
also said we should have bipartisan agreement. I think that's a great idea. We should have bipartisan agreement. How about we all come together and say, let's stop murders?
Okay.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
Nah, we ain't doing that. No, sir. No matter how bad MAGA wants me to stop attacking them, I will not. Dear Leader is in the files, and he is in the files in a lot of, like, really weird ways, dude. Like, some of these might be fake, but even if like 1% is true, it's pretty bad. We're getting to that point where it's like, okay, let's say most of it is fake. The 1% is still very bad, you know? Like, we're at that point now, guys, where it's pretty damning. And he's fucked on this in multiple aspects. For example, sorry, I just noticed something. My bad. For example, he's breaking the law, like obviously in front of everybody's eyes, and he's in the files, so it looks like he's trying to cover it up. Like, this is not a good look for Trump. And it might be his undoing. It really might be. And you can tell the right is afraid of it because they're not talking about it at all. I wonder if that maybe today changes it up and maybe they talk about it, but I'm not going to stop talking about it until all the files are released per the Epstein Files Transparency Act. And isn't their timing just so convenient? Like, they release a bunch of documents right before everybody goes on holiday, and they're already breaking the law, so they know that. And yeah, I think MAGA's screwed, but we'll talk more about the Epstein files once we get done with this PBS NewsHour. A lot of interesting stuff happened this weekend.
Tonight on PBS News Weekend, President Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky meet in Florida to try to find an end to the Ukraine-Russian war. Then, as Zoran Mamdani prepares to become mayor of New York this week, meet the photographer who documented his improbable rise to national prominence. And looking back at some of the best songs and albums of 2025 and the controversial rise of AI-generated music.
Music is so personal, and to take out the humanity from one side of it really kind of, upends the whole structure. Authenticity is super important.
Yeah, I agree. But how else would we get classics like Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein singing Chestnuts by an Open Fire? So, give and take, That's
Major
art.
funding for PBS News Weekend has been provided by the ongoing support of these individuals and institutions. And friends of the NewsHour.
Ah, 676767,
This program was made possible by the contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
You're welcome. By the way, if you guys want, join the Discord if you disagree with me on anything, and we'll have a good faith discussion. I'm nothing but a good faith actor out here.
Good evening, I'm John Yang. President Trump and Ukrainian leader Volodymyr
Chad Yang, he means.
Zelensky said today that they are closing in on a peace proposal aimed at ending the war with Russia. The two leaders met today at Mar-a-Lago in Florida.
We have two willing parties. We have two willing countries. They want to see it end. The people of Ukraine want it to end, and the people of Russia want it to end, and the two leaders want it to end.
Damn, Zelensky kind of looks sad right now. What the hell? What did Trump say? He was like, "My friend Zelensky, unfortunately, Vladimir said he'll release the P-tape if I don't let him have Luhansk and Donetsk. I'm sorry. I really thought we had something going, but unfortunately, Daddy Putin said not to. I don't make the rules here, buddy. I just enforce them."
Today's talks involve just the United States and Ukraine. While there's been no official response from Moscow, In the days leading up to the meeting, Russia intensified attacks on Kyiv. Zelensky says that's evidence that President Vladimir Putin isn't interested in ending the war. Michael McFaul teaches at Stanford University, and he was U.S. ambassador to Russia in the Obama administration. Mr. Ambassador, the President Trump talked to Putin for about an hour beforehand. He said he's going to call him.
Yeah, literally. He was like, Daddy Putin, I know you said I couldn't, but Zelensky's coming over, and I just want to say I'm really sorry.
After this meeting with Zelensky, what do you think his reactions is or is going to be to what is in this proposal?
Well, he's already stated it. He's already been on TV yesterday, and then his foreign policy advisor, Mr. Ushakov, who I used to negotiate with when I was the ambassador, he's already said so. They don't want a ceasefire. They've said that very clearly. And they want all of Donbass. That's the eastern part of Ukraine. And he said either we'll get it peacefully or we'll get it militarily. And in the proposal, at least the one that President Zelensky publicized a few days ago, the 20-point plan, it does not give Russia all of Donbass by retreating Ukrainian forces out of.
He had to meet a guy that won't talk to him without asking Putin first. Of course he's upset. Yeah, of course, dude. God, Zelensky really is like, I think he's the leader of the free world as far as it goes. You know, Trump's leaning towards fascism and authoritarianism. I think it's really important that people like Zelensky still exist, you know? And he's fighting corruption too. Like, he's not, I think he's fighting it. From what I've seen, he's trying to root it out. Like, the fact that they caught all those corrupt actors shows that it's a system that's working. I don't know. Like, I don't think it does anybody on our side to help if we just highlight the bad things about Ukraine. You know what I mean? They're not the most perfect fucking democracy, but neither is America right now. Honestly, they're probably a better democracy than America right now. But who knows? Maybe they have their own gerrymandering and filibuster. If you can get rid of those two things, dude, I think those are a quick fix to the hostilities.
Out of that part of Donbass that they control. So my guess is, I hope that Putin will take this seriously and negotiate towards the end of this horrific, barbaric war. My fear is that he's going to reject it.
You talked about Yushakov in Russia. He had a briefing for reporters after the telephone call earlier, and he said that President Trump and President Putin agreed that Kyiv must make a courageous, responsible political decision regarding the Donbass, and that given the situation on the front lines, Kyiv must not delay making that decision. It sounds like that the president is going to pressure Ukraine on this point. Is there any leverage that he's exerted on Russia?
No, and that's exactly the most important point.
Dude, I love that. No. Oh, so are they putting any pressure on the other side? No, not at all. Great. Oh, geez, it's sad. It really is sad. I hope I'm not seeming like too joyous about this. It's just like, how do people soak this up from Trump? It's just embarrassing. Anyways.
President Trump for trying to end this war. I think he had to talk to Putin to try to do that and talk to President Zelensky as he's doing today. That's part of negotiations. But what he has strategically miscalculated is that his strategy has always been to put pressure on Zelensky and never pressure on Vladimir Putin or the Russian armed forces or the Russian people supporting the war.
We know why that is.
And so time and time again, He keeps asking Zelensky for more concessions. And there are more concessions, by the way, in this new proposal than there were 6 months ago. Extraordinary concessions, from my point of view, that the Ukrainians and President Zelensky is proposing. But Putin just keeps pocketing those concessions and asking for more. And I predict he'll continue to do so unless President Trump changes course in 2026 and puts pressure on Russia. And to do that, that is more weapons for Ukraine and more sanctions for Russia.
What are some of the concessions in this proposal that surprise you
Amen.
on the Ukrainian part?
Well,
First, we're not even talking about the occupied territories anymore. If you look at least what was put in the public domain, and I want to be clear, I haven't seen any secret documents, but what is in the public domain, the Ukrainians are not even disputing those territories that are currently occupied by Russia. That's a huge concession. Second, they have now put on the table a proposal for how to govern Donbass, which would include, if Russia agrees to do the same, a retreat from the contact line right now in Donbass. That's another extraordinary concession.
they're
The
giving
twist
up
to it all,
this is a lot,
importantly,
dude.
is that Zelensky
How do people not realize like how much, like Ukraine is giving up so much? I don't know, like people I guess just don't understand the mass amount of land they're giving up here. I mean, a lot of this is mineral rich area that is super useful. God damn it. Yeah, they're giving up a lot, and it's kind of sickening how much the Trump admin is asking for, in my opinion.
said he could only agree to do that if there would be a referendum of the Ukrainian people to endorse it. But it is a major concession that was not part of the talks 6 months ago, let alone a year ago.
He's proposing that area, as I understand it, become either a demilitarized zone or a free economic zone. How would that work? Is that something that Russia would support, would buy?
I don't think so. I think so far we've seen no evidence that Putin is willing to do that. He keeps saying Donbass needs to be ours, either through peaceful or military means. Now, I've negotiated with the Russians in my career, and I know that they always adopt maximalist positions until the end game of negotiation. So one could hope for that. But publicly so far, he's rejected that idea. He wants to conquer it by military means.
In our last 30 seconds or so, where do things go from here?
Again, I hope Putin will take seriously this new proposal. I think it's a fair proposal, a lot of concessions from the Ukrainians. I fear that the war will drag on, and this time next year, tragically, I think they'll still be fighting in eastern Ukraine.
Former Ambassador Michael McFaul, thank you very
That
much.
is so disgusting.
Thanks for having me.
President Trump will focus on another conflict Monday when he welcomes Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Mar-a-Lago. The meeting comes amid questions about when the second phase of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas will begin. In Gaza, tents housing displaced people have been battered by cold rains and whipping winds that move through the region.
Yeah, it
Gaza's
doesn't
health
sound like
ministry
that's over,
says
by
that
the
over
way,
the
guys.
last
I'm
2
just going to
weeks,
be
there have been
honest.
at least 12 weather-related deaths. In Myanmar, the
Doesn't
first
really
phase
sound
of the
like
country's
that's
general
over,
election has ended as civil war
unfortunately.
rages throughout the nation. Voters lined up to cast ballots in the first general election since a military coup in 2021 ousted Nobel Peace Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi. The United Nations and human rights groups both question the election's legitimacy because major parties have been excluded. Final results will come after 2 more rounds of voting in January. The National Weather Service says much of the country will feel the effects this week of a powerful winter storm driven by an intense Arctic cyclone. Winter storm warnings stretch across the northern United States with snow, cold, and hazardous driving conditions expected. Blizzard conditions are possible from the upper Midwest to the Great Lakes. Freezing rain is forecast across New England, and thunderstorms.
Yeah,
are
I got a
expected
bit of a
through
cold
the
spell
east
here,
and the
not gonna
south.
lie. It was
By
very
Tuesday, some cities will see
frigid
their temperatures plunge by double digits.
where I was at.
And movie screen sex symbol and animal rights activist Brigitte Bardot has died. Her
Yeah,
status
I
as a
saw
pop
that.
culture
Rest in
icon
peace.
was cemented with her appearance in the 1956 film And God Created Woman. She went on to model, sing, and star in 50 more films before she left the world of entertainment to become an animal rights activist. Later in life, Bardot was
cool.
criticized for her involvement in far-right politics in France. Brigitte
Oh,
Bardot
never
was
mind.
91 years old. Still to come on PBS News Weekend.
Far-right
the
politics,
photographer who
huh?
captured
From
New York
animal
City
advocate to
mayor-elect
far-right
Zohan
politics.
Mamdani's improbable rise from relative
Fun,
obscurity. And hitting rewind on some of
transfer
the
of-
songs and albums topping the
professions, I
charts in
guess.
2025.
This is PBS News Weekend from the David M. Rubenstein studio at WETA in Washington, home of the PBS News Hour, weeknights on PBS.
God, you gotta love that music, dude. You just have to.
Few American politicians have come as far as fast as Zoran Mamdani. He began 2025 as a little-known state legislator, and in the first minutes of 2026, he'll be sworn in as the mayor of New York, often called the second toughest job in America. Photographer Kara McCurdy documented his remarkable rise as Mamdani's campaign photographer. She's been capturing images of Mamdani since before his first race for state assembly in 2020. Ali Rogan spoke with her about her experience watching history unfold through her camera lens.
Kara, thank you so much for being here. You have been photographing the mayor-elect since even before his first campaign for state assembly. What did you think of him when you first got to know Zohran Mamdani?
I thought this guy is so charismatic, and we really connected initially on our shared politics. And so I really valued that this was somebody who felt such a deep conviction to what he believed in, that he was, willing to talk to me, who was a complete stranger at the time when we met, about his politics, and even bring me into the fold and show me how we could kind of share this with so many more people, all of New York City, and now all over the world, really.
Knowing now what he's achieved in such a short political lifetime, did you ever think that he could reach these heights of his political career so quickly?
Zohran is somebody who that what he's going to go after, he's going to get. He really, if he has a vision, he's going to see it through. I'm not sure that anybody could have predicted even the past 12 months, but I always believed that he was going to be somebody that was going to make
This
a big
girl's a bit of a
splash in
Zoran
politics.
fangirl, eh?
Was there a moment where you realized that in his run for mayor that he was really going to transcend this kind of dark horse candidate position in the race?
I think I started to pick up on it in the mayoral campaign early, just seeing the voters and the supporters' engagement and enthusiasm, not just about Zohran himself, but about what he was running on. I remember that I was out with him walking around in March, and people were stopping us from across the street in the dark, yelling his name because they saw him, and they weren't just yelling, Zohran Mamdani, I'm voting for you. They were yelling, I'm voting for universal childcare. I'm voting for fast and free buses.
Is that what they said?
And I think it was around that time that I really started to
Interesting.
realize this thing is much more widespread than I can really even grasp.
So this sort of photography is not what you were typically doing. You do a lot of weddings and elopements. But when you started working with Zohran, you talked about creating his visual identity. And so I want to know, how did you approach this assignment?
What we were able to derive from those first few photos was this thread of storytelling, which is something that he and I are both drawn to. Every single photo that we take and every opportunity that we have to start a new shoot is an opportunity to tell a story, whether those are stories of working New Yorkers or the story of somebody running for state assembly. And that's something that translates very easily back to wedding and elopement photography. When I'm shooting a wedding, I'm telling the whole story of an entire day. When I'm photographing Zohran Mamdani, I'm telling the full story,
I've never
not
heard
just
it taught
of him,
elopement,
but also of his policies and what that means for New Yorkers.
I also have to ask you about these images of Zohran and his wife, Rama Douaji's wedding at New York City Hall. They went absolutely viral. And I want to know, what does it mean to you to see these pictures get shared so widely? And why do you think that was?
It has been absolutely surreal to see just how far these photos have gone. I feel very fortunate for that. And I think that people really cling to them because they're so relatable. They are truly just a
They're
couple
hashtag
that wants to
relatable
go
for
and
sure.
get married and celebrate the core of their relationship, which is simply two people being in love. It's not a giant production. It costs $25 to get married at City Hall. So it is quite accessible to many people. And it's something that a lot of people can see themselves in. You know, we took the subway there. We didn't get into a private car. And once we got there, it was raining and we had to deal with that, just like any other normal person getting married at City Hall might do. It's the most human photos that you'll see of a wedding day.
Kara, I want you to walk us through some of your
The
favorite
most
images
human
and
photos you'll
why
ever
they stick
see.
out to you.
One of my
Think
earliest
about that,
favorites
guys.
is from 2021 after the hunger strike.
Zohran
and
is
we had
the
won
most human
$450
person.
million in debt
Confirmed.
relief for taxi cab medallion owners. And there's a taxi driver who's lifting Zohran up into the air, and you can feel the relief and the joy. It's very, very happy, and I love that. So some of my favorite images come from one of my favorite evenings on the mayoral campaign when we walked the length of Manhattan. And that for me was a really special night because so many New Yorkers got to come out and randomly see Zohran Mamdani in the streets by surprise. But then they just started joining us and walking with us. And I have this gorgeous shot that's in front of a supermarket, and you can see the walkers are taking up
That is
the
a good
entire
picture.
block. It was just a beautiful representation.
I'll say
of
it. That's
how
a good picture.
We're not just bringing Zohran into City Hall. We're bringing all New Yorkers in with us. This is a movement for all of us. And then I have a photo from primary election day before many people knew who he was, although he seemed like a celebrity most of the time to me at that point. And
Oh,
we are
she is a
on an
fangirl.
escalator, and he's trying to
Okay.
hand out literature to anybody
Well, I thought it
who
was a
will listen to
bit
him.
heavy on the glaze.
And you can
so
see
makes
the face of a
sense.
man who simply could not care less about Zohran Mamdani. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't stop. He doesn't turn. He doesn't say anything. He just keeps going. And Zohran is
The glaze is a
opposite. He's
little
full of
crazy, I'm not
glee
gonna
and
lie.
joy. And that is really such a beautiful dynamic between himself and voters. I think he's willing to talk to anybody. He's willing to share his beliefs with anybody. And this is a really beautiful
what a
moment
relatable
from
guy.
before too many people knew who he was. And we don't get those anymore.
Kara McCurdy, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.
Zohran Mamdani received more votes than any New York City mayor candidate in over 50 years. Part of that Democratic wave that's going
Music in
around.
2025 has had it all, from breakout new artists and big stars continuing to top the charts to AI-generated artists igniting fierce debate online. To help us
Yeah, I don't
sift
like
through
this
the year
AI
in music,
art bullshit.
Stephanie Sy spoke with Mara Johnston, a freelance music writer and
Or I
critic,
guess,
and Candace
I don't know.
McDuffie,
I don't like
freelance
the,
music journalist.
like, I like AI,
Maura and
but
Candace, this is the third year running we've gotten together to talk about the biggest music stories of the year. It's so great to have you back. I just want to start with asking whether there were any breakout artists, moments, or shows for either of you in
all right, we don't really care about this. We do not. And what is this panel, by the way? Yeah. Holy shit. What is this panel? We've got, I'm sure these are all distinguished people, so I won't say anything about it. I won't say a single thing. Anyways, we're gonna watch a little bit of Tim Poolco, and then it's files time. Apparently Trump was gonna make Charlie Kirk the vice president. I don't know. We'll find out.
Fairly wild. Trump's secret succession plan to put Charlie Kirk in the Oval
Dude,
Office.
where is this coming from? Who's saying that? Actually, who is Who's saying that? I'm excited to see the sources on this.
And groom a shock new VP. I'm going to lay it down for you. It's very simple. The plan was 2028, J.D. Vance, presidential ticket, Vance Kirk.
No,
Charlie
it
Kirk is the
wasn't.
VP.
Dude, what
And it
is
was
this? Who fucking said this? Who told you this? Tim Pool famously reported that Charlie Kirk was alive after that incident where Charlie Kirk lost his life. Famously said that the Kirkinator was alive and well. So I'm sorry if I don't immediately believe everything Kirkinator here is saying. Or Tim Pool here is saying.
Young. It's going to be a few years from now. He'd be old enough. And then 2 terms, Charlie Kirk would be the next presidential candidate, and he would be a relatively young, well-known, high-profile guy.
Wow.
His VP was going to be Don Jr., which makes a lot of sense.
Bro, what? You just said it was... You just said... Did I hear things wrong? Didn't he just say his VP... Did I hear things wrong?
Now, I wonder with the assassination, was it just something so simple as he's a guy whose politics we don't like? Or was there perhaps a, we don't want this guy to win the presidency, some nefarious efforts? I lean towards the very simple crackpot leftists planned this, and they wanted to stop Charlie Kirk. But if I was going to be conspiratorial, I'd argue it's going to be machine state, deep state, whatever you might think.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, I think the shooting in and of itself demonstrates
Bro,
the gravity
what?
that Charlie Kirk had. I mean,
What is
he had
this?
an entire
Tim, you were just railing about how people need to stop with all these conspiracies, and now you're engaging in a crazy fucking crackpot conspiracy. They killed Charlie Kirk because he was going to be the next VP. Listen to this cope. It's, in my opinion, kind of unbearable, but unfortunately, we gotta sift through it. One moment.
apparatus behind him that he had built from scratch. And whoever, the man that shot him, obviously was fully aware of that. He knew what he was doing. Michael Knowles made this point on his show, and it's something that not a lot of conservatives want to hear because it's like a sobering reality. But what he said is that assassination,
we got a sobering
work.
reality
That's why people do
incoming.
them. And taking Charlie Kirk off the board after it wasn't this kumbaya moment, like, guys, we gotta take it back. Everyone was like, we're in trouble without Charlie Kirk. Like, there's no doubt about it. He occupied such a massive space on the right. And I mean, I'm glad the Daily Mail is at least reporting
The
that there was a plan in
Kirkification of
place,
the
but I
right
think it was
is
gonna be
crazy, in
obvious
my
that either way,
opinion.
he was going to be a presidential, certainly a candidate. I mean, he held unbelievable weight in the conservative movement. It would have just been inevitable, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of people in
No,
the
I have to
conservative movement.
restart.
I don't
God
think
damn
there's anyone
it.
in the conservative movement that had the influence that Charlie did. You know, his ability to reach out and talk to young people. I saw basically a sizzle reel of like all of the people that were just adoring Charlie the day that he was shot. Right, like it was the 3-month anniversary. Someone put together a sizzle reel, and there was nothing gruesome in it. It was about celebrating Charlie's life. And you know, even that
Dude,
day,
this
just,
is
you know,
some
there's like 3,000
crazy
people
coke,
there.
though.
People were just stoked to see him, and I mean, he was treated like a rock star. You know, and when you have someone that is that influential and has that much goodwill towards him from a voting bloc, I mean, it's unstoppable when it comes to, at least politically. You know, it's something that
He was unstoppable.
Remarkable.
Those
honestly.
college
So,
campus
it is
kids that got, you know, his clipping industry was something
it's
else.
a massive loss, and it is good to hear, you know, the Daily Mail talking about this and putting this.
All right, gang. I'm thinking about making a sub goal. What do you guys feel about that? Like a daily sub goal? Cause I think we need to do like some sort of sub drive at some point. Something like that would be fun, in my opinion. Cause I would I would like to start getting onto panels and stuff, but it's hard to do that without a following. Anyways, get back to this.
This information out there, so
Yeah, he's aptly dubbed the quarterback of the MAGA movement.
Yeah.
When your quarterback goes down, your offense grinds to a halt.
I mean, look what's happening at AmFest right now. Look at all the things that have happened in the wake of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I think
Look at everything just imploding right now.
I think we're looking at there's been a political elite civil war going on since Trump got in. The Democrats, what did they called Trump the Pied Piper candidate? They hoped that if Trump won the primary, the Republican primary, he would lead the Republicans in a direction that would cost them the election. Trump won.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
Whoa.
And since then, they have been doing everything in their power to destroy the right populist movement.
Yeah.
This, with the taking out of Charlie, either through sheer convenience that's
We didn't take Charlie out, bro. This is so insane to just pin it on us. That wasn't us, dude. Like, that'd be like if I pinned all of the MAGA movement on Melissa Hortman. Like, that dude was obviously fucking insane. And same with Tyler Robinson. He was obviously a fucking insane kid. Don't put this on us, dude. It's not us doing this.
Wacko, left-line wacko did this, or somebody planned something. Because I don't think for a second it's a lone shooter theory.
That's funny because like when I remember the day he got shot, and I was talking with my wife, and I said, if you want to watch this video, watch this video. If I suggest you don't. And she's like, why would they do this? What is it about him that makes him so important? I said, he's such a likable guy. And I said, most likely it's because he was making a presidential run at some point, or he would have been 35 in 2020.
That's why they did it, guys. That's why they did it. That's why we did it.
This is the first time I've ever heard my suspicions, anyways, like confirmed. But like, yeah, I mean, he was very popular. He doesn't have to be a politician's politician. I mean, he could just be a well-liked guy, and for his his views and his convictions and standing up for all that stuff. Especially, you give him another 4 years.
I think.
Where's he then?
Well, yeah, where does he go afterwards?
Yeah.
Right. I think, especially with the money they were raising, I think the Tyler Robinson story is the closest to reality. But who knows? However, this idea that he acted alone, I think, is silly, especially with there's reporting that there were vehicles gathering outside his home, and like there was a meeting, and people were going on social media and posting the foreknowledge of his assassination. The most likely thing, it sounds like liberal activists, left-leaning progressive activists plotted this, and it wasn't just because Charlie was hateful; it's because it was effective. So, I'm
bro.
I'm
They can't say I'm not conspiratorial. Fuck you. You can't do that. This is not us, bro. This was obviously fucking just some crazy dude. This is sick. What they're saying here.
Conspiracy 100% on this one. I just think that
It's like there was a moment when Tim in the past, like the past month, there was something going on where he was like doubting what the Republican Party was saying, but instead of following through with that, he just doubled down. So sad. Dude.
Likely scenario would be Tyler Robinson working with other people of this political persuasion, not like, I don't know what
my question was
Mossad or
this,
whatever.
okay, let's just pure speculation here. Let's say they run Charlie Kirk. Who does the left run against Charlie Kirk in 2028? Who do they put up there? Like
AOC?
Yeah, AOC would go down just like Hillary went down because she's just not as likable as somebody as like Charlie Kirk. I understand why they would. They need rock stars.
I don't think a woman can win the presidency.
Gavin Newsom. They've already done a talk show together, Gavin and Charlie.
That's what I was thinking, Gavin Newsom. But Gavin Newsom versus Charlie, man, Gavin Newsom looks like a snake. He looks like a used car salesman.
The only way a woman wins the presidency is if both parties nominate a woman. And that means, like, through inner politicking, they make this woman happen. The idea that a woman running against a man, I think it's almost always going to end up with the woman losing.
Okay, that is so not true. Look at the European circuit of politics. They have women running against men and kicking their ass all the time.
Funny, because when I say this, the progressives go, Tim's sexist. He says a woman can't win. It's your argument.
Yeah.
It's that there are many men who would never vote for a woman. I believe you are correct, liberals.
What if it was
leftists.
Tulsi Gabbard for the Republican Party, and then the Democrats just bypassed the primary and selected with superdelegates some despicable, weak man that people thought was useless?
Let's
You
play
don't
a
think
game.
Tulsi would
Let's
beat
play
that?
a game, bro. Hold on. We got to do. We're in Vegas. Here's what we're gonna do,
Dude,
brother.
Kamala, with her shoestring campaign, almost whipped Donald Trump's ass. So I don't want to. I wouldn't be saying.
We're gonna
that.
walk on the strip up to some regular old people, some homies, and we're gonna ask them, "Would you vote for a woman president?" And you know what's gonna happen? Half the guys are gonna go, "Hell no."
Would you vote for 88-year-old fat, tired man too? And they'd be like, "No." I mean,
bro, what do you think?
Who would you vote
They're
for?
already there. They've already done so. I mean, like,
There's tons of videos already where they're like in Times Square and they're like, "Would you ever vote for a woman president?" And these young guys are like, "Never."
So
and they ask them like, "What if the candidate was like, you know, the crippled old man?" And they're like, "Nah, women shouldn't be president." Even women go, "No, I wouldn't vote for a woman."
That's not true. This is crazy, Cope. And just wrong too, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, there's lots of like attributes of a presidential candidate that negatively impact them potentially. I mean, it's difficult for men that are short to sort of win the presidency. It's difficult
Sort of
for,
win, to actually win.
To actually win. It's difficult for single men to win the presidency. I mean, that was the biggest hit against Tim Scott in the primaries, was that he was single and then just swirled like homosexual allegations. It's like you need, but there's like there's a lot of physical attributes that come into play because you're selling them on a package. You're selling them on an aesthetic. You're selling them on a vibe.
Bro.
All of these things synthesize into a political candidate.
Shouldn't have won. Hillary Clinton was just very unlikable, politically evil, and there were a lot of people that don't want to vote for a woman.
Yeah, I mean, people downplay the actual effect that has when people see her next to Trump on a debate stage where he's towering above her, wide shoulders, he's like a total alpha, and then
Bro,
Hillary's this tiny little stumpy woman in a pantsuit. It's
Kamala Harris requested that her podium in the debate be smaller so that it looked proportionate to her body, like Trump on camera.
Wow.
Because
Bet that
most people were
backfired.
only seeing Kamala and then Trump and back and forth.
This is like, dude, Tim Pool really is the definition of broatics. You know, he's not actually serious about shit. He doesn't think politics is more like it's a game rather than anything actual important to him.
And the camera zooms were made to make them look the same size on TV. But when you were there, she had a teeny little podium and he had a very big one.
So Tim Walz, Democratic nominee, versus Tulsi Gabbard. You think Tim Walz would win?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that's tough.
I mean, Rollo's the
I would actually,
masculine.
I would speculate,
wheelhouse. I'm interested.
I would speculate that
Not Tim Walz wins. And I'll say this: I like Tulsi Gabbard as well, but I remember her performance in 2020, and she did some really good things, but it was not X Factor level 10. It was not up there.
And also in this hypothetical, like you're dealing with someone that used to be a Democrat. There would be plenty of Republicans that would come out and say, no, she's actually a Democrat. Remember, she used to this and used to that, et cetera. And so they wouldn't trust her to be an actual conservative.
I'll give you this, Ian.
She's
I
also
will give you
she's
this.
also Krishna too.
A woman can beat a man if it is intentionally uniparty propping up a loser guy who
That's
can't
what I
win.
wonder,
Right.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so like Tim Walz. So Tim Walz absolutely can lose to some women for sure.
Oh, jeez. Tim Walz, this is Cope.
I guess.
Make no
so
mistake.
I agree with you. And I stand corrected. I correct my position. What I'm saying is a legitimate race with a real primary. And real, I mean, with superdelegates and all that, where they actually are like, we want this female. Female's not going to beat a guy.
Yeah.
If the Democrats collude with the Republicans and say, we're going to pick a guy
Oh, this
who's
is some crazy conspiracy. The Democrats and Republicans working together, but we can't even work together to open up the fucking government. It's crazy. Well, I'm back. We back on Tim and Rollo. Hey, good to see you, Bill. Yeah, it's been a little lonely in chat today. Let me tell you, we're not getting the viewers today. That's all right. I don't really mind that. But yes, we are watching Tim Pool. We're almost done with it though, and then we'll go to BTC, Brian Tyler Cohen, talking about the Epstein files.
literally in a coma, and then you're going to pick a charismatic woman, then the woman's probably going to win.
Yeah, like a Nikki Haley pulls really well against Democrat candidates purely because she's not really threatening to the sort of regime as it stands in any way. If you want to bring in like a truly formidable, paradigm-changing candidate, they're going to be a male because you're going to have to sell
That is so fucking backwards, bro.
them on the additional factors. So that's why Trump had to be.
I was going to say, I wrote this essay that about a year after the Trump-Hillary in 2016, right?
Bro, he wrote an essay? Who is this man?
And I spelled it out this way: is Hillary was so unlikable and was she's like the epitome of feminism. She's like the most foaming at the mouth. You know, if you want to say like, you know, what does a feminist look like, you're gonna go to Hillary Clinton.
Hillary
right?
Clinton is a feminist, ladies and gentlemen. That's news to me.
She's like this kaiju.
Oh yeah, Hillary won against Trump in the
of
popular vote,
feminism,
though.
right? And there's only
Trump is 2 for 2 on not winning and not technically winning the popular vote. 2 for 2.
only one other person, one male on planet Earth that is as big a kaiju as it's like Godzilla versus Rodan or something. And you got Hillary.
I'm sorry, that's just how you guys see him. I see Trump as a frumpy dumpy dude. Walking in a field of rakes.
On one side, and then you've got Trump on the other side. Trump is the only one who is so over the top masculine that he could possibly be a contender.
Okay, hold the fucking phone. You're telling me this man is the epitome of masculinity? This man right here. Really? Epitome of masculinity. Look at this doofus. This fucking idiot is the epitome of masculinity, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. Any young guys struggling out there just look like this fucking guy, eh? Oh my goodness. He looks like a fucking turtle. Oh, look at this. Epitome of masculinity right here. So embarrassing.
Against somebody who is so over the top feminist as she is. And so, like, if you think about it this way, though, everybody thought that Hillary was going to win.
Trump's got a little feminine energy. We can all be honest. Trump's got a little feminine energy in him. We can all agree that Trump's little hand's got a little bit of a feminine energy. You know? He's very expressive. That's not typically associated with the conservative ideal of like masculinity. He's petty. You know?
Much so that Newsweek had the covers already prepared for it. The what was it? Remember that show, House of Cards?
Oh, yeah.
House of Cards changed the plot of House of Cards, expecting there to be a female president. In the Super Bowl ads of, well, I guess it would have been 2017 at that point, the Super Bowl ads had to all go back and rejigger all.
Yes, we get
Hillary
it.
was going, and he whips in there.
2016
and the next,
election
or the
was
first
crazy.
female
Oh, I
president.
thought she was gonna win, too.
Everybody thought that. He whips in there, and nobody wanted to vote
Let me
for
tell
her.
you about one of the greatest days of my life. I was sitting there watching the New York Times.
The greatest
probability
days
meter,
of his life.
Greater than 99% Hillary Clinton. And then every 10 minutes, every few minutes, it's just
This
moving.
guy was a
I
liberal,
remember when
by
it
the
got
way,
to
guys.
50-50,
He used to be
and
a
I'm sitting
liberal,
there,
supposedly.
And I'm just, I'm sorry, I put my feet up, I'm laughing. And then I remember when it ticked over to Trump winning. I didn't vote for Trump. I just absolutely loved watching Hillary Clinton get just destroyed in an election because I can't stand these people.
Yeah, he's a liberal, by the way. This guy's a liberal. What an idiot. Oh my god. Tim, you are so dumb, man. I'm sorry. Now it's seeming like you fucking... Who was the dude you, the dude that faked, a racist attack. He's now that man. The right has their own version of that, and it's Tim Pool. Jesse Smollett. Yeah. Jesse Smollett. Whatever his name is. Well, that's what Tim Pool now is. Great. Anyways, we're gonna stop with this cope. We're done. I guess we can finish it.
But I will say this: J.D. Vance, tall guy. Don Jr., tall guy. Charlie Kirk, he was like 8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was 6'5", right?
Yeah. Well, because it contributes to like.
All right, yeah. Just a little bit of homoeroticism to end us off. Thank you, Tim. We appreciate that. Just a little bit of homoeroticism a day. Anyways, let's watch some Brian Tyler Cohen, our absolute Chad in Christ. Oh. Jasmine Crockett has a... I can't. We gotta get to the Epstein files today.
Piece of evidence that Donald Trump's government is engaged in a systematic cover-up of the Epstein files to protect Donald Trump. An email was just released with the subject line, GM photo on Bannon phone, with GM likely...
Ooh, I haven't heard about this. This is big.
Standing for Ghislaine Maxwell. The email reads, quote, "Hi, redacted. I hope you're well. I'm helping out with the responsiveness review for WBTW, and I've been looking through Steve Bannon's iPhone 7 on Cellbrite. I was going through the images from that phone. I found an image of Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell on Bannon's phone. See screenshot from Cellbrite attached. I discussed with Sonny, and we wanted to flag this for you in case it was of any importance to you since you are on both cases. Please let me know if you'd like anything further done with this."
This is why I want the communications, because the communications are going to show exactly what those investigators were thinking at the time, and it's not going to be going through a filter of political persecution, I guess would be the best words for it. Yeah, this is why I want, and there's a good amount of it in the J drive we have, but it's not everything, and it's so clear that it's not everything. There are vast portions of evidence missing, and they're breaking the law, and I think the American people are pissed off about this right now. Like, they're so pissed off, and the Republicans know it, so they're trying to hide. Or the rightoids know it, so they're trying to just not talk about it, but it makes it even, it's making it even bigger, in my opinion, because it's making it seem like this is something the right doesn't want you to know. You know what I mean? That's why I'm doing this episode today, because I really don't, this is a much bigger case than I think a lot of people are treating it. The Epstein files are, this is massive, what we're finding out, and it's bigger than just Trump, you know. It's there's a lot more people involved in this, and I say if they're Republican, Democrat, send them into the Hague, dude. I don't think we send people to the Hague anymore, but you know, lock them up, alligator Alcatraz, you know. If it's Bill Clinton, send him. If it's fucking, I don't know, who has even been implicated on our side besides Bill Clinton? I don't think there is anybody. Anyways.
Much. And the attached screenshot is entirely redacted below. Now, as was mentioned by the author of the email themselves, the photo is of Donald Trump and Ghislaine Maxwell. The law as it relates to the Epstein Transparency Act is that redactions only apply for victims and minors, and that they express...
Dude, Brian is such a Chad for pointing this out. Thank you, Brian. Like, this is an important piece of the legislation that they directly ignored. They need to be held in a court of law. I mean, they need to be prosecuted for this and sent to jail. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, all three of them need to be tried. And it's got to be left up to a jury, I guess.
do not apply to protect politicians. Well, unless either Donald Trump or Ghislaine Maxwell are a victim, they're not, then the only reason that this...
don't you Oh, I have seen some cope recently. Donald Trump's a CIA agent, man. No, that's not true at all. There's nothing to indicate that he was a fucking undercover agent.
This photo is redacted is to protect Trump. That's it. Meaning we're not only witnessing more evidence of a cover-up, but a move in flagrant violation of the clear text of the law. I mean, honestly, what other reason is there not to release a photo of Ghislaine Maxwell and Donald Trump, which, by the way, already exists in the public square, other than to protect the president? And let's be clear here.
Oh my God, that's embarrassing too. If it already existed in the public sector, that is damning, because then that literally shows they are just violating, just trying to protect
He knew full
Trump.
well that this would happen. Months ago, the DOJ's acting deputy chief, Joseph Schmidt, was caught on a hidden camera admitting that exactly this would take place.
Well, those files do exist.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of pages of files. They'll redact every Republican or conservative person in those files, leave all the liberal, Democratic people in those files.
And surprise, surprise.
Whoa, remember that, guys? You guys remember that?
Redacting every Republican or conservative person in those files and leaving all the liberal Democratic people in those files is exactly what they did. The DOJ's corrupt scheme was even confirmed by Fox News, of all outlets. Fox Digital reported, quote, the Justice Department redacted the names and identifiers of victims. Fox News Digital has learned that the same redaction standards were applied to politically exposed individuals and government officials, which, to be clear, is blatantly illegal. The Epstein Transparency Act itself says, quote, no record shall be withheld, delayed, or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity, including to any government officials, public figures, or foreign dignitary. In other words, Pam Bondi and the DOJ are clearly violating the law in an effort to protect people, although only certain people. Remember, they were perfectly content to make sure that everybody knew that Bill Clinton was in the files, thanks to that first tranche that was released. No redaction standards for that politically exposed individual, but Donald J. Trump, well, clearly they've gone to great lengths to ensure that he's properly taken care of. Ro Khanna came out with the following statement in response.
God, I love Brian Tyler Cohen. He's a killer.
To this
dude.
violation
He's
of the
an
law that he
absolute
co-sponsored.
Chad. I hope
The
you
Justice
guys
Department's document dump this afternoon does not comply with Thomas Massie and my Epstein Transparency Act. They released one document from a New York grand jury of 119 pages, totally blacked out. This despite a federal judge ordering them to release that document. And our law requires them to explain redactions. There's not a single explanation for.
Yeah, they're breaking the law so flagrantly, and it shows a lack of care for the people. It shows that they don't care about the people's will.
Why that entire document was redacted. We have not seen the draft.
And this is a nation, again, by the people, for the people. So why the fuck are you hiding this stuff from us?
Indictment that implicates other rich and powerful men who were on Epstein's rape island, who either watched the abuse of young girls or participated in the abuse of young girls and the sex trafficking. The reality is Pam Bondi has obfuscated for months. She first said there were no more documents to be seen. Now she's admitting and releasing hundreds of thousands of documents, but it is an incomplete release with too many redactions. Thomas Massie and I are exploring all options. It can be the impeachment of people at justice, inherent contempt, or referring for prosecution those who are obstructing justice. We will work with the survivors to demand the full release of these files, to demand justice for the Epstein class and accountability.
And most bizarrely, the byproduct of all of this is that it only intensifies the narrative that Donald Trump is indeed implicated and has something to hide. Piers Morgan, for example, who is a pretty vocal fan of Donald Trump, even tweeted, quote, memo to the Trump administration, the longer you drag out the Epstein files and the more
Yeah, I like to see Piers Morgan calling
that you
this
heavily
out, at
redact,
least.
the worse this scandal will get. What we're seeing now, as many of your own supporters are saying, is the opposite of the full transparency you promised. And again,
at least someone like Piers Morgan is fucking talking about this. You look at Fox News, you look at all these rightoids, and it's not a peep.
There will be no full transparency, because full transparency would mean that Donald Trump himself gets exposed. And clearly, thanks to Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Dan Bongino,
I think I'm gonna change the rage bait. Maybe that'll trigger some MAGA. I got it. Hold on. Trump's DOJ is hurting the victims. No, not quite that. The files. There we go. We can do something like that. That's some good rage bait, right? There we go.
that's never going to happen because Trump has something to hide and they know it. Think about it. Why would Donald Trump and his administration subject themselves to all of this if they had nothing to hide? You think Trump doesn't understand the damage that he's doing to himself by suppressing these files day after day for 11 months?
Trump doesn't want you to know. Dude, that one's a good one, too. I don't know.
You think he doesn't see the damage?
I know I'm streaming at a different time, though. I think tomorrow I'll make sure to stream at my regular time slot. I just like these special episodes to be a little later in the day so I can stream a little longer so all my meds have hit and stuff.
Doing with his base? You think he doesn't see the damage that he's doing to his reputation? Think he doesn't understand what it means to lose the news cycle day in and day out? The only logical explanation is that the only thing worse than all of this is actually allowing us to see what's in those files. And
actually, I was thinking at the 3-hour mark, I'll end the short stream and I can do a normal stream if you guys want.
That's a point, by the way, that
or
Mark
I can
Elias
just do
made
another
here.
short
They
stream.
have decided that this is an instance where the cover-up is not worse than the crime. Right? Everyone always says that the cover-up is always worse than the crime. No, that's actually not true. Like, sometimes the crime's really bad. And so the cover-up is actually better than acknowledging what's underneath. As crappy as the cover-up looks, like, you're actually better off. So you should judge and, you should consider why they are going to all this effort as you either decide to give them the benefit of the doubt or not give them the benefit of the doubt.
And so at this point, we can all expect that Donald Trump will continue to hide these files because, frankly, if they've gone this far, they're clearly prepared to go all the way.
Honestly, I'd love to have an Epstein debate. That's something I really would like to have a debate. Like, the debate can be the DOJ is purposely hiding the files, and there's just such a mountain of evidence that it'd be hard to, I would not.
If they've
envy the
endured these blows,
conservative.
then what's to stop them from continuing to do whatever is necessary to protect dear leader Donald Trump at all costs? Which raises the question, what can we do to ensure that the law, a law that Trump himself signed, by the way, is actually complied with? I asked that question to the author of the Epstein Transparency Act. Again, Ro Khanna, here's what he had to say. So what recourse is there
Chat
when you've got
alert.
the DOJ, again, whose job it is to enforce the law, that's
Brian
actually
Tyler
the one
Cohen is
violating
so-
it. That's the one deciding
I'm
to
so
create
glad
new
we have him on our
standards by
side.
fiat, where they say, okay, we're not only are we going to not release the full files as was required by this law, but we're also going to create this new standard where if you're involved in government, even though this was a government aligned pedophile ring, if you're involved in government, we've now given ourselves license to just redact your name from this thing. What recourse is there when the police are the one who are crooked?
Well, the first recourse is public opinion, and that is what moved the bill in the first place. The reality is that Donald Trump thought he would get away with this. He didn't expect that his MAGA base would literally unravel. This is what unraveled Trump. This is why you have 50 discharge petitions. This is what split his base. And the reason it happened is because of these survivors. They came to the Capitol 2 times, and people said, this is outrageous. And they're going to come again. So this idea that justice thinks, okay, this is the end of it.
Tulsi now is pure independent, but they're all politicians. What do you mean by that? I hate both sides equally. Oh, we've got an enlightened person. We've got an enlightened, both sides are. I'm sorry, dude, but if you don't see the clear difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, then you need to get your glasses on because there is a stark difference. One is for democracy and one is very obviously for authoritarianism. I'm 47. It's not both sides. It's all politicians. I don't know how you can say that. How can you say that it's all politicians? We have one side who is clearly trying to hide the Epstein files, being Trump's DOJ, and we have one side fighting with people from both sides to open up these files. Oh my God, get over the 94 crime bill. If you can, okay, your issue seems to be the 94 crime bill. And like, that is the end all be all of all legislation. And as if no new legislation has been put forward since the 94 crime bill. Like, you can update, you can talk about politics that are not, that are recent and not in the past. Well, I think you should join the Democratic Party, because there's one side that is clearly for democracy and one side that is clearly for authoritarianism.
They're just wrong. Watch the outrage when survivors are back and saying that they violated.
Yeah, I think a lot of politicians in the 80s and 90s did bad things. Does not mean they cannot make up for what they've done. Look at what Joe Biden did during his presidency. Look at what Joe Biden did during his presidency. He brought mass waves of employment. We never lost a job under Joe Biden. Never once did we lose a job. Oh, that's interesting that you bring that up, Robert, the Hakeem Jeffries money. So what actually happened, if you want to know the full story, is that one of Hakeem Jeffries' aides reached out to a company owned by Jeffrey Epstein for campaign money, and they never even got the money. So that's what your the Hakeem Jeffries money comes from. It's a complete lie. So Afghanistan, you realize Donald Trump is the one who got us out of Afghanistan. It's not Biden's fault that it had to be such a rush. And it's also not our fault that an army we trained for years crumbled like that. That's not our fault. Donald Trump is the one who made the deal with the Taliban. COVID lies. What lies did he spread during COVID? Please enlighten me about that. My ignorance knows no bounds. What did I say that was wrong? What did I say that was wrong? Please enlighten me about what I said that was wrong. I don't think I said a single thing wrong there, but and yeah, Fauci he's not part of the Democrats, dog. Like, please enlighten me about what COVID lies Biden spread. Watch, it's going to be like, he told you to wear a mask. As if that is a lie.
The law, and they have not complied. More broadly, people are subjecting themselves.
But let's also look at now. What's happening right fucking now, dude? Because you have a president who is hiding files related to his crimes. Let's talk about the now. This man is hiding files that the American people are demanding. Yeah, people, I totally agree, Bill. People really can't say what their problems are with the Democrats without actually bringing up Trump's first term. Fucking men. A lot of the issues you guys have with the Democrats are actually because of Donald fucking Trump. We had to fix a lot of shit, okay? And we still weren't able to fix it all. I don't think we should have left Afghanistan. I think we had more work to do there. I think what we did was a disservice to the people. We just came in there And then we said, oh, it's too hard, and left. What a pathetic thing to do. And that was all done because of Donald fucking Trump. Sorry that we had to clean up the mess. Sorry that army of 300,000 crumbled in a few weeks. Like, what were you expecting? I really do hate the Afghanistan withdrawal stuff because that is all Trump's doing. If it were up to me, we would have stayed there and we would have kept building up a democracy that the people wanted. Now, the people of Afghanistan get to live under the rule of Taliban. Yep, Trump lost 65. Yeah, it's a real tragedy. It really is. I wish we didn't leave, and it's an embarrassment on the world stage. Not because of how the withdrawal went. The withdrawal was understandable. Everybody knew that was going to be a nightmare. But the decision to leave, the decision to say, this is too hard, I'm taking my basketball and I'm going home. That's what was an embarrassment. Not any of this, not any of the withdrawal. And now we have people crying about these brave men and women that put their lives on the line to help our soldiers being racist towards them. It's just disgusting.
The risk of prosecution. They are obstructing justice. And this is not just about these 3 remaining years. A new administration could prosecute these individuals. The statute of limitations would not have run out. And I'm one of these people. I don't know about you, Brian. My view is, yes, I want healing and reconciliation after Trump's gone, but I want to.
Oh, yeah. ISIS controls so much of Somalia, dude. I actually know a good amount about, I've been studying up on the ISIS threat. ISIS is a extremely big threat right now. And the warning signs were there for so long, so fucking long. And we just sat on our asses while we did nothing. And now, ISIS has a huge presence in Somalia, but also in Syria and in other places. Kana was on Kyle Kalinske and didn't deny a presidential run. That's interesting. But I actually have some... We can go over it tomorrow because today is the files, but there's a couple war fronts videos I wanted to cover about some topics. I was thinking maybe having Mina on to talk about some of the because she's much more intelligent about, or maybe Kalinda, about geopol. And so I was hoping to have one of them on at some point because, yeah, ISIS has really gained a lot of territory. And I'm surprised more people aren't aware of it, to be quite honest. Like they are gaining ground in Syria, and a lot of it has to do with us pulling away from our Kurdish forces, who were able to keep ISIS maintained. However, because we're pulling away from our Kurdish forces, it's allowing them to be less funded, therefore ceding more ground to ISIS. Or I should say IS, but ISIS is just the catch-all term. It's not really... Well, this sect would be ISIS that I'm talking about, but yeah, it's bad. And then you have off sects like Boko Haram. Yeah, it wasn't dealt with, you know? And then we have a huge problem when it comes to the prisoner camp. I don't remember the name of it, that is watched over by Kurdish guards and Syrian guards now, I believe. They've been increasing the ISIS troops have been increasing their assaults on the compound, which luckily the defenders have been able to defend against. However, with the amount of resources that they've been able to attain and the amount of land, and just they've been able to push, they've been holding, the waves have become more and more deadly. And so there's a lot of speculation that soon those defenders at that camp will not be able to defend. And you guys have no idea what would happen if that camp was broken and those extremists were allowed to join back into ISIS. We're talking people who have spent, we're talking children who have been taught their entire lives that under this fundamental Islam teaching, and with the added benefit of a continued feeling of persecution with being imprisoned. Yeah, dude, there is some bad things going on there.
Not going to have reconciliation without accountability. And if you violated the Epstein Transparency Act, if you bombed innocent people off the coasts in the Caribbean,
we've got a really fun episode tomorrow, you know. I won't lie. This episode's going to be fun just because of the Epstein stuff, but tomorrow I'll have a lot of
people out of their families as ICE, there is going to be criminal accountability, and that is in a new administration. And then Massey and I were talking about articles of impeachment and inherent contempt. The difference here is you've got Republicans, MAGA Republicans, who may go with for this. In fact, someone had shared my video.
It's the people, dude. It's the people, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's like. This isn't a bipartisan issue. Everybody wants accountability for these disgusting fucks who have just abused children and got away with it. And I think this is also good. These idiots are desperate to find anything on Trump. Oh, brother, we have a whole wealth of information on Trump. We're desperate to not run into something with Trump. It's like Trump is in a field of rakes and he continually steps on the biggest and most obvious rake. Oh, ow. Next time I'm going to take a step and I won't step on a ow. All right, this time I'm not going to step in I'm not going to hit a rake. All right, here we fuck. It's just continual.
Prominent MAGA influencer saying, Roe, impeach Bondi. You and Massey should impeach Bondi. So this is not some Democratic issue. I mean, think about it. If you've got 5, 10, 15 Republicans actually leading the call.
We have more evidence against Trump than we have genders, and there are a lot of genders too.
Impeachment.
And I know that we often talk about legal recourse and getting the courts involved, but I want you to appreciate the first point that Ro Khanna made, that popular pressure is important. The reality is that popular pressure has been massively critical in terms of getting these Republican members of Congress to sign on to the discharge.
Which is why it pisses me off that the right isn't talking about this more. Come on, you can talk about it, like you can do it against the Democrats. Sure, fucking talk about Bill Clinton a lot. Sure, I don't give a fuck. Talk about this shit. The people demand it.
petition, in terms of keeping their names on the discharge petition amid pressure from Donald Trump, including Lauren Boebert, in terms of then getting virtually every Republican to join the Democrats in signing the final version of this bill. That doesn't happen without people across the political spectrum continuing to highlight this issue. So if the Trump administration wants to continue to engage in this illegal cover-up, they can try.
Like, Jen Atari, are you not upset with the release of these files? I genuinely want to know. Because it seems to me, if I was a MAGA loyalist, I'd be pissed. Because not only is Trump making himself, he's making the MAGA movement look like they're defending PDF files. Like, excuse me, sir, what are you saying?
Doing is galvanizing the entire country against them and making it clear that Trump is implicated in the exact scheme he promised to expose. And while I don't exactly do predictions, I'm willing to guess that in the fight of pedophiles versus the rest of us are going to win in the end. Very much.
Well, hold on now. Ted Cruz has something to say about that. Hold on. Ted Cruz has something to say about that. He can agree with you on some things. He'll agree with you on some things, but why isn't the noise playing? That's weird. That's strange.
Senator Booker also said we should have bipartisan
Ted Cruz
agreement.
has something
I think
to
that's
say
a
about
great
that.
idea. We should have bipartisan agreement.
Right, so he's agreeing with you?
But we all come together
You're
and
with
say,
him?
let's stop murders.
Mm-hmm.
How about we all come together and say, let's stop rape? How about we all come together and say, let's stop attacking pedophiles?
Well, hold on now. So, seems like the Republican Party might have something to say about that one, Brian, unfortunately.
This May.
Cheese Crust 113. Democrats have so much proof on Trump's crimes, they have to keep faking proof. What evidence have we faked, sir? What can you point to that is a fake Democrat hoax, as you would say? Cheese Crust 113. Shout out to Google for making that name. I knew they'd be here. The Russian bots, they heard I was talking about Dear Leader, and they couldn't accept it. Well, you know what? I'll give them what they want. They want proof of Trump being a creep? Well, I'll give it to them. Let's go. Donald J. Trump. You know, I think I'm actually going to make a game of this. So, if we meet a sub goal each day, we'll go over a new piece of evidence. Now, today we're getting all Trump, but for every sub goal we hit, we'll go over a new piece of evidence, not only relating to Trump, but there's a lot of evidence regarding Trump right here. There's a good amount, so I guess we can just start in the very beginning. So, hold on, we got to go by some points here. I'm gonna turn on some music real quick too, if you guys don't mind, okay? Let me play some Front Mission 4. I'll just restart it from the very beginning.
Xbox Game Pass Ultimate has
Excuse
so many
me?
benefits
Why
that it
am I
might
getting
seem a
ads?
little
Why am I
overwhelming.
getting ads right
What do you
now?
get with Ultimate? What-
Shut up. Racist. Pictures of Epstein where they are edited out faces of already known girls who said Trump did nothing wrong. What are you talking about? The pictures of the Trump with those girls, I don't think we know who they are, and I don't think they've said anything about that. How do you know that? Actually, the victims are very upset with the release. If you actually talk to them instead of just reading right-wing news, you'd actually know that. But unfortunately, you seem to be like, I don't know, Cheese Crust 113 is probably a Benny Johnson viewer. Sounds Russian and body enough. Yeah, the Trump DOJ is responsible for the redactions. Court records, House oversight. Appointment. See, I wish this was a little bit more clear on... Okay, view all. But this isn't... These aren't all mentioning Donald Trump, are they? Like, it's a little strange how this is laid out. Am I wrong? Here, I guess I can do a Command F and see if these actually do have Trump in them. It says it found it found a couple, but I'm not seeing it. Yet the Democrats are taking unredacted photos, redacting them, editing them to make look Trump bad. No, you know, what the DOJ is actually doing is forgetting to redact a picture, taking it down because it had Donald Trump in it, redacting it, blaming the victims, and then taking it back down and unredacting it and putting it back up. That's what the DOJ is responsible for. Bad misinformation in that brain of yours, unfortunately. Bad misinformation. I'm really trying to see how I can... Okay, we can start with images. Let's start with images. So I'm seeing this book. What is this book? Oh. Well, if you take a look right here, sir, that's Trump and Epstein together. And remember, apparently he kicked these guys out of his club after he kicked Epstein out of his club after he found out, but that seems to be a bit of a lie. What is this? Oh, interesting. Interesting. So this is, it appears to be a schedule here. We take a look. Let's zoom in here. Now, something you're going to find out, too, is that David Copperfield, absolute fucking freak. Why can't I... Oh, okay, down here. Yeah, David Copperfield is a fucking weirdo, ladies and gentlemen. Why can't I... This is very strange that... This is a very strange way of doing it. So it looks like these are calls to Donald Trump. Or not calls to Donald Trump. Looks like these are calls to Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump is listed here. David Copperfield is very... he's all over these. At 5:15 in 2003. Okay, so remember that Donald Trump was calling Jeffrey Epstein by what we know, by just the evidence we've seen, by 2000 at the latest so far of 2003. And this is just one piece of evidence again. Okay, that's interesting. I feel like there's more mentions than just this. I've seen... Oh, okay, this is interesting. Alright. Well, let's take a look at another piece. So this is the... what is this again? This is a court document, obviously. It's the deposition of Alan Dershowitz. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, I can just start reading this if you guys want me to. But it looks like it would be a lengthy read. Made her dress up in outfits for them. Disgusting. Yeah, and it's obviously going to be a lot of disgusting stuff talked about here. Do you know Jean-Luc Brunel? No. Have you ever met him? Oh, that's interesting. They talk about Jean-Luc Brunel here. Was Virginia Roberts lying when she said Jeffrey Epstein socialized with Bill Clinton during the relevant time period? Mr. Knight, same objection, same instructions. Alan, my information is that Virginia Roberts was lying when she said that she saw Bill Clinton on Jeffrey Epstein's island. That's all. I can comment about with that, and she's lying about that. And she's lying about how Bill Clinton got onto the island. Well, this is, again, Alan Dershowitz, a disgusting human, so... Mr. Edwards, I move to strike the non-responsive portion of the answer. Special Master Pazzulli. No, it's relevant to what you asked. Move forward. I'm not going to strike that. I'm going back to the question until I get an answer, though. Special Master Pazzulli, go ahead. Pazzulli, by the way, name of a demon. Alright, that is when Virginia Roberts said that during the relevant time period, which we defined as 1999 through 2002, let's be clear, around August of both of those years, right? Alright, this is just about, I mean, Bill Clinton, obviously an important person in this case, but we're still unclear about what his exact relationship was. And same with Donald Trump. Same with Donald Trump. We have no idea what their relationship really was. Donald has commented on it, but it's very much from an unfair and unreliable narrator, so. This lady in the photograph, somebody else you know. Now we're through Jeffrey Epstein. Alright, they're talking about Ghislaine here. January of 2000. Is there a common interest agreement in existence with respect to the allegations that have arisen since January of 2015, or that you contend covers that? Same objection, same instruction. If there is, who negotiated this agreement? Can we have a ruling on propriety? Special Master Pazzulli, you haven't punished me, so I let you go. Is a party to a common interest to an agreement. This is interesting, actually. So essentially, what this is it's asking Dershowitz, they're deposing Dershowitz to see if there was a common, if there's basically people around Ghislaine and around Epstein that Dershowitz essentially knew. And it's also talking about Virginia Roberts' accusations. And asking if Dershowitz believed that they were lying. Also a mention of Prince Andrew, always fun to have there. We love seeing Prince Andrew, huh? That is very interesting, though. Started files. I don't quite get the overview of this. I'm gonna switch it. Edwards versus Maxwell, House Oversight. Is this what we want? The House Oversight? I don't think this is important. I guess we can start just with the basics, I guess. Okay, maybe I'm kind of unsure about how the site works, right? Because I know there's more about Donny Boy than what they're showing here. One page. And this is all just like a book. Like, I don't think this book is necessarily important. Let's go images, maybe? Because I'm not seeing, like, where are the communications of the DOJ? That's what I'm wondering. Just go to home, I guess. Oh, is this where we needed to be? I think this is where we needed to be. Okay, okay. We're slowly discovering more about this. So these blueprints, by the way, are very interesting. I feel like somebody could uncover some interesting stuff about those. Oh, what is this? What is this website? JMail World Folders Court Records. Oh, interesting. Oh yeah, and they've got, okay, you can see his flight purchases. I think, Jace book? What's that? Oh my god, am I Jeffrey Epstein? This is me as Jeffrey Epstein. Nice. Politicians, celebrities, business. This is funny. Okay. Let's go to J Messages. Let's see, see who we got. Stacy Plaskett, remember. I remember that. Where's, I kind of want to see his messages. Yeah, Steve. Let me get these Steve Bannon messages. Yes, sir. Let's read these. Oh my god. Steve has a lot of messages with Jeffrey Epstein. All right, so right here. Donald J. Trump is certainly moving back to your base. Good job. And Steve Bannon says, thanks. He should leave Syria in exchange for the Iranians leaving Yemen? What? So this is what I'm talking. This is weird, bro. Why is he... Like, he's basically giving political advice through Steve Bannon, which at that time, Steve was very close to Donald, so through an extent, this would be, he's basically trying to, you know, recommend policy. Interesting crypto. Everyone wants in. So amusing. It's the future, Mr. Gotez. I don't know what that means. Love this film. They're soying out about a film. Always nice. I liked your fuck Wall Street statement. Oh, There we go. Jeffrey saying he liked some stuff. Don't know how you are doing it, but it seems he is following your lead. Ugh. Oh, what is this? I wonder if staying in Europe was more okay, hold on. How long will you stain? Why does he spell it like that? Stain? It's staying. He's completely forgetting all the letters. I wonder if staying in Europe was more appropriate. Back in New York tomorrow. Hi. Oh, geez. They are so much like women. The worst aspects of women. Ew. So they're talking a lot about like geopolitical actions here, which is concerning. We'll call shortly. Yeah, he doesn't like women. He prefers girls. I want to read the story of the cab driver. Does anybody have that? Because I think the cab driver story would be interesting to go over. Whoa, whoa, what is this? Okay. Try now. His reflections in a few days he spent in China also reveals Einstein's tendency to perceive foreigners as a threat. It would be a pity if these Chinese sapient all other races, he wrote, for the likes of us. The mere thought is unspeakably dreary. What? Okay, okay. His reflections in the few days he spent in China also reveal Einstein's tendency to perceive foreigners as a threat. It would be a pity if these Chinese sapient supplant all other races, he wrote. For the likes of us, the mere thought is unspeakably dreary. What the fuck did they talk about on the phone, dude? What? Did you meet directly with MBZ? Yes, always. Why? No worry, only good. For Paris, I have the best China intel coming. What does that mean? Brilliant, says Bannon. He says stability power is stability. They have manpower in Marshall. Push for robotics, big for genetics, aging populations, diabetes, etc. Strategy began 40 years ago, right on track. He said it is a unified, nationalist economic country made me smile. And they don't mind suffering to achieve their goals. NY Attorney General sues Trump Foundation over sweeping violations. It begins. Very, very, very bad. Alright, this was what kind of weirded me out. Enjoying Mr. Trump from future services as an officer, director, or trustee, or in any other capacity as a fiduciary of any non-for-profit or charitable organization incorporated or authorized to conduct businesses. Oh, okay, so he's just sending what they essentially got sued for. Doing ABC Sunday tomorrow. Yippee! I'm not really seeing anything too spicy here. Let me see if they have the Trump cab moment. That would be interesting. Let me just go back real quick. Huh. Damn. I like this one, by the way. This is one of my favorite ones. Let me just look up the Donald Trump cab driver. I'm sure someone will have a link to it. Donald Trump cab driver story. This one's crazy, and I really do want to go over it because it's just so fucking insane. Where are they? Where is it? Oh, geez. I'm boomering right now. People Quartz? FBI received rape allegations against Trump during Epstein probe. Files show, but DOJ dismisses claims. FBI intake report featuring an account by a former limo driver. Alright, where is that? I want to see that. So it would be essentially... It would essentially be... What would I be looking for here? Appear to be an FBI intake report that features an account. Alright, FBI, we're looking for the FBI intake report from 1999. Alright, let's see if we got anything. Would it be the FOIA? No, it wouldn't be the FOIA. I'm a little lost here, folks. I'm not gonna lie. FBI intake report that features an account. FBI intake report 1999 limo driver? We'll look that up real quick. Maybe it's here. Maybe we found it. I am not a robot. Alright, let's see. Oh, I think this is it. Yes, this is it. Okay. Am I wrong? Oh, no, it's not. And is this one of the ones that the highlighter worked on it? Oh, do they have it unredacted? I think they do. Alright, well, we can just read it from here. We can just read it from this one right here. Alright. All right, let's begin reading, shall we? It's a little hard to read the text, but I think we'll be able to read it. Is the music too loud, ladies and gentlemen? Is everything all right? Before we start reading this this document here. All right. Case ID number 50D-NY-30275771. Epstein Jeffrey Child S.A. trafficking ring. The date and time that this was received. So this isn't important. This was received in 2020. There was no, okay, so it wasn't an intake report from 1999. That's just the time in which it was alleged. All right. So daytime received details on 10/27/2020 at 3:20 p.m. Eastern Time, redacted, date of birth redacted, cellular telephone number redacted, called the FBI National Threat Operations Center, NTOC unit to report potential information related to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Details 10/27/2020. Ghislaine Maxwell. Blank provided the following information. Blank reported around 1997 he made contact with blank, date of birth blank, whom he had known from 6 to 7 years prior, as they had a son together. Blank and blank ended up dating, as blank explained she was having money issues and problems with her daughter. Blank noted that they were friends from before, during the contact in 1997. Blank asked blank how to spell Ghislaine numerous times, as blank noted she had taken her daughter up to see one of the supposed fathers who lived in Niagara Falls, New York recently. Blank reported she had met a lady who invited her daughters blank, date of birth blank, and blank, date of birth blank, to a fancy hotel and meet Donald Trump and some of his friends in 1997. Blank continued asking blank how to spell Ghislaine, implying Ghislaine had given her money and would give her additional money if needed. On Christmas Eve of 1999, or the day prior, blank was over visiting his son, who he had with blank years prior. Blank began talking to blank as she seemed to be acting strange and asked if blank needed a ride home. Okay, this is much more clear now. Blank asked blank about his time driving a limousine for 2 years in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. During blank time as a driver, he had met Donald Trump. Blank noted he picked the president up in 1995 and took him to the DFW airport. Blank reported some things Donald Trump had spoken about during the ride while on cell phone were very concerning. Blank reported he had a few seconds from pulling the limousine over. Blank reported he was a few seconds from pulling the limousine over on the median, within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurting him due to some of the things he was saying, as a caller chose not but the caller chose not to. Blank noted Trump continuously stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone and made references to abusing some girl. Blank was unsure who he was talking to nor who he was referencing. As Blank talked about his time meeting Donald Trump, Donald Trump, immediately Blank's demeanor went a stone cold as Blank stated he R-worded me. Blank said what as Blank replied As Blank replied, Donald J. Trump had R-worded her along with Jeffrey Epstein. Blank noted some girl with a funny name took me into a fancy hotel or building, and that's how it happened. Blank advised Blank to call the police regarding the incident. As Blank stated, I can't, they will kill me. On Christmas Day, Blank contacted Blank about blank. Blank contacted Blank, stated she had in fact called the police about what they had talked about. Blank told Blank she had done good. Blank did not hear from Blank or Blank until 01/10 of 2000. Blank reached out to Blank, stating Blank was dead and noted she was found with her head blown off in Kiefer, Oklahoma. Officers on the scene and blank stated there was no way it was a suicide. However, the coroner stated it was a suicide. Later stated blank committed suicide because blank had gotten cocaine from a Mexican drug cartel. Blank feels the murder is a cover-up for Ghislaine. The last contact with blank was after blank posted this information on Facebook a couple weeks prior. Blank called blank, yelling that he had put the family in danger. Blank explained blank had a third daughter named blank, date of birth blank. Note, during blank's report, he mentioned John Doe number 2 was actually John W. Nicholas, date of birth blank blank, who tried to originally set blank up for the bombing in Oklahoma City? Huh? Oh, John Nichols? Whoa, what? Hold on, why are we talking about... No, during blank's report, he mentioned John Doe number 2 was actually John Nichols, who tried to originally set blank up for the bombing in Oklahoma City. Nichols worked security for Bill and Hillary Clinton as blank, ate at a place where Nichols worked security at the door. Hillary walked up to blank drunk and began yelling as they asked to leave and fired Nichols, which led Nichols to attempt to set up blank for the bombing. So what do we think about this? What do we think about this, ladies and gentlemen? This is just absolutely fucking bonkers, honestly, folks. This report is insane. I don't know what to make of it, to be quite honest, but it's they like, why are they mentioning John Nichols? I thought it was it wasn't Terry Nichols. I don't know, dude. I don't know. This is a weird report, and I don't really put much credence into it, but it's just another example of Donald Trump being mentioned in these weird ways. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to do a break and restart the stream. So we can cast the net out there a little bit, get some more people here. I'll take like a 30-minute break, but then I'll be right back to it. So remember to like and subscribe so you get the notification. And I will see you in about 30 mementos. And again, if you guys want to see any of my past VODs or streams, any of the special ones especially, make sure to go check out my playlist. I have a general playlist for this era called the MS Paint era. And then I have a playlist for any specials that we do, because I know I like to chop up my specials into little stream bits. So make sure to check those out. What is the next era? That's a secret. We'll unlock it when we hit 500 subs. Post paint? Oh, it's something completely new. I actually have a really cool idea once we get to the next era. It'll be something, don't you worry. Give me a little teeny hint. Okay. Lasers? No. Nothing to do with lasers. Okay, so the hint is I'll keep it as far as we are keeping the gaming console look as we do. So obviously that will stay the same. But the visuals, I'll give you the visuals and stuff are gonna change. And there will be moving parts. That's all I can give away, because it's still very much in its early stages of being planned, but I'm actually pretty excited for it. I also kind of want to do I need to set up a call-in section. It's something I wanted to work on. Where people can call in. But they have to join the Discord is the only issue. Not a lot of people do that. Anyways, folks, I will be back in 30. Make sure to like and subscribe. Motion pictures, my word, I know. Make sure to like and subscribe so you get the notification for when I'm live. And we will be here. Actually, is anybody streaming? I can raid into them real quick. I know I only have like one person, but that's okay. That's all you need. Let me check who's live real quick. Loner is still live, actually. Alright, you guys know where Loner Box is, so go say hi to Loner for me. I'll probably be in chat here in a minute soon. It's 3 a.m. Get you some sleep, Bill. Thank you, thank you. Alright, I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes to 40 minutes.